Tech Table. Tech Table. Tech Table.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Table, the Technical Staff and Theatre Workers podcast. It's the podcast in which I talk to people who work in the technical side of the entertainment industry about how they got in, their experiences and any advice they can give to anyone getting in. And we are back for Season 6. Really looking forward to this season. We've got 10 fantastic guests lined up for you in the next 10 weeks, so I hope you're looking forward to it too. Thank you so much for the downloads while we've been in the off-season. It's been fun. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much for all the messages and all the follows and all the likes. It's been really, really good and really encouraging to see. If you want to get in touch, you can get in touch via the email address, which is techtablepod@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch via the social medias, we are on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube, and they are all Tech Table Pod. So give us a follow, give us a like, send us an email, just say hi. It would be great to hear from you. So yes, we're looking forward to this season. Season 6 is about to get started. So without further ado, let's get on to our first guest. I'm here with my guest this time. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell me what your current job title is.
Right, my name's Michael Savage, and my job title is Chief Electrician in Eden Court Theatre up in Inverness.
Excellent. And how did you get into theatre?
I got in theatre, well, as probably my background in theatre started with music. I played in bands as a teenager, and as a child I learned how to play the drums and the guitar very poorly, and decided that I wanted to get into music any way I can. So I thought, well, because I was a substandard musician, I thought I'd get into sound engineering.
Right.
So looking for courses, I ended up in an electronics engineering course for a year, which was horrible. Hated it. And then went to a media studies course to see if I could get in there, to see if I could get my hands on the equipment and sound desks and things. And they said, well, we have a theatre course. They've got sound engineers. Why don't you go over there? And I said, well, okay then. I'd never thought of theatre before. I think I must have been in a theatre about twice in my life. But I really wanted to get my hands on a sound desk. I really wanted to do something technical within music. So I thought, well, I'll go along. And it was the Miskin Theatre School, or I think it's called the Miskin Theatre now, but in Dartford. And I spent 2 years there doing a BTEC National Diploma in Technical Theatre.
Wow. Excellent.
And then from there, went to two years H&D course down on the south coast in a wee town called Worthing, where I did a stage management course.
Oh, sorry about that.
Which was a great kind of a great intro into kind of how to work in theatre and how to behave in theatre, because I had no idea before that.
Right.
And then after that, I got into a bit of London Fringe. I worked in the Battersea Arts Centre on a wee Fringe show, and then went to, I think it's a wee theatre off Leicester Square called, is it the Tristan Bates Theatre, if I remember correctly?
Is that what it's called?
I did some work there.
I think, hasn't that changed its name, or is that still there?
Possibly. It's a wee tiny theatre. I think it had 2 little venues there, but I mean, back in those days, I think it was just, there was a lot of people, anyone with any bit of money could put on a little bit of Fringe, and then they just kind of beg you to go and do technical work for expenses, is what we used to say. We're working for expenses, which basically meant they paid your train fare.
Yeah. What I quite like is you clearly have been living and working in Scotland for quite a long time, because you've used the word "we" about 11 times for small.
Oh, that just rolls off the tongue now. Yeah, I'm an interloper. I'm a Sassenach, they would say. I'm an Englishman up here in Scotland.
Excellent. What was your first paid job in theatre then?
My first properly paid job was at the Palace Theatre in Mansfield.
Hooray!
There's a wee venue tech, a little venue tech there, and basically it was a multi-skilled technical role there, which I took on. Even though my background was sound, I took that role. There was 3 of us full time, and that role was basically a general technician in sound, lighting, and stage. But I generally ended up working towards the sound and mixing the pantos there and stuff, because that's my interest and that was my background.
And of course, that's where I came in, right?
Yeah, that's where me and you met all those many years ago.
It is.
I can't even remember what year it was.
I don't remember either.
Early 2000s.
All I'll say is that this podcast doesn't happen without you, because you're the reason I got into theatre. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's
full circle moment. Have you, in your career, had any issues? Anybody holding you back? Any, naming no names, holding you down? You feel, or have you seen that at any point?
No, not really. My working in theatre for me has been pretty much wholly positive. I would say, because my background is venue tech, and my whole experience of working in theatre has not been touring, it's not been producing, it's just been venue and receiving venue. You can kind of get initially. It can tie you with that idea that you're not wholly skilled, or you haven't got the same skills as someone who's worked on a tour or a producing house. So you do kind of sometimes get that idea. But I think usually here up in Eden Court, because we're out of the way and we have to do a lot of stuff ourselves, and it's easier for us to do tech than to ship whole productions up. We are fairly skilled as a touring house. So you do sometimes feel like you're kind of second fiddle to the touring guys, but I think that's probably more in my head than because I've never done any of the other types of theatre.
I suppose, yes.
But other than that, no, it's always been. And as for holding me, I don't feel like there's really been any obstacles in the way of my career.
Right.
Good.
At all. Excellent. What are the pros and cons of working in theatre?
Well, I think the pros are the people. The people, definitely the people. You meet so many brilliant people and so many creative people, and just people from all backgrounds that you can work with. In a touring house, you see different people every day. I mean, we've had stuff like we've had Brian Adams tour here. We've had comedian. We had Jack D last night. We've got Francis Rossi from Status Quo tonight. So it's the range of events that we put on. That's the positive here for me.
Excellent. And the cons?
The cons, well, having listened to your podcast a few times over the last couple of days, I'm going to kind of repeat what a lot of other people say, is the hours can be difficult. Although personally, I'm not really a fan of office hours. So it's like, never been one for 9 to 5, but it is tough when you're trying to bring up a family, as I'm sure you know. You do have to sacrifice time with your kids sometimes. You miss the school plays, the nativities and things like that, and that's tough.
I think your priorities change as well, don't they, as you grow older and as you get more, like you get a family and things like that. When you're younger, your priorities are completely different to when they're older.
Yeah, you do, and you have to learn to kind of sometimes step away because it's a pleasurable career and you like being here and the environment's pleasurable. Sometimes it's hard to step away and it's hard to go and focus on family. But I think you really need to kind of, as you raise families, you need to focus on that and learn to kind of just go step away, trust your colleagues and go and focus on family.
Excellent. What would you say is a common misconception of anybody trying to get in the industry? So when new people come into the industry, especially up in Scotland, up at the top end of Scotland, which is where you are, do you feel that people come into the industry with a certain expectation as to what it is that it actually isn't?
Well, I think from a technical standpoint, which is kind of what I know, I think there is a kind of, especially with young people coming into the industry, is you've got all the toys, you've got all the equipment, you've got all the money to spend on stuff. And I think that what people learn very quickly here is that we have to kind of make do a lot of the time, repair stuff. We're working with kit that's not brand new because we don't have the funding of like the commercial theatres. We're a charity, and I think a lot of theatres around the country are like this. They're not working with cutting edge gear, and I think if young people get into the industry, they can think, wow, I'm going to play with all the toys, get all the cutting edge gear, and it's all going to be marvelous. Yeah. But really, you do have to kind of think on your feet and work around some of the equipment because we're not corporate and our resources are limited.
But that's also sort of a good thing in a way, isn't it? Because it teaches you about how to fix things. You know, you've not got the advantage of sending something back and getting a new one the next day. You have to figure out how things work, and knowing how things work is probably a really good teaching and learning point in the industry.
Yeah. That's it. And we've got racks of spares, and we just have to swap things out all the time. With kit and stuff, so we have got pretty adept at that.
Excellent. What advice would you give to anybody getting in the industry?
I would say if you want to get into the industry, especially backstage or technical, I would say go and bug your local theatre. Bug them all the time. I would say, as a person who employs casuals and new staff, and we do a lot of recruitment processes. Theatre people are busy and they don't always get back to you. So if you send an email, don't just send one email, send 2 emails, 3 emails. Bug them all the time. Don't be rude, but just show you're keen, because eventually someone will let you in and someone will say, come and have a look at this, or come and work on this show.
Yes, and then when you do get that call, accept it.
Yeah, do accept it, and just straight away make sure you're keen when you turn up, that you're looking to be busy. Keep yourself busy, and you find your way, no problem.
Excellent. And they're a very the theatre industry likes people, don't they? I mean, it's a sort of a people place. Even if when you first start, they don't like you at all.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, I think your experience at the Palace Theatre is that we warmed you eventually.
Yeah.
And well, I knew you'd be great. It just took everyone else a little while to come round.
Brilliant.
But that's the Palace.
That's the Palace. That's Mansfield for you.
Yeah.
Excellent. And that's everything I've got question-wise. So thank you so much for joining me.
I hope that was all right.
That was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Mike there. Really enjoyed talking to Mike. I've not spoken to him in a while. He is the reason why I'm doing this. He's the reason I'm in theatre. So he's the reason this podcast exists, really, one of them, although he's not getting royalties for it. A huge thank you to everybody who listened to this. Brilliant download figures we've had so far for the first 5 seasons, and I hope they continue. Thank you so much for the downloads. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for everything. If you want to get in touch, it's techtablepod@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch via the socials, give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone you know who's interested in theatre and in the technical side of the entertainment industry, and anyone who's not, because it might make them interested. A big thank you to Mig and G and Jade and Flynn and Nathan, the Tech Table team, who are really helping out on this as it grows and grows. So yes, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thank you for the downloads, and until then, I shall see you all next week.